If it makes you money or brings us happiness, you'll find it right here. This is The Purple Tie Show. Welcome to The Purple Tie Show. I am Robert Martin.
And I am Blake Singleton.
I pointed at you. I don't know why I pointed at you.
Is that a thing now?
It's your turn to talk. Anyway, oh my God. So, the first episode of the podcast, I really feel like we should kind of warn people what they're getting into. Like, this just this past banter is a pretty good idea of what they're in for, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a saint.
Well, all right. So we've had just a ton of adventures together, and we started a bunch of businesses together.
We were going over this earlier today. I didn't realize how many businesses we have been in together.
And we have had so many incredible experiences while climbing our entrepreneurial ladder. Is that a word?
Yep.
Entrepreneurial ladder. I just think we should share them.
Well, okay, let's give a little background before we jump into, man.
I mean, we're not going to share them on this episode. You got to come back.
There's too many.
There's way too many.
This would be like a 9-hour-long podcast.
Oh my God.
If we went through all of them.
It's like soap opera. Days of our lives that will never end.
Yeah. No. I don't. Wow.
So, a little background about you.
Okay. I am originally from North Carolina. I moved here 15 years ago, 16 now.
No. You got to do the thing where you're like, from...
I am from Mount Olive, North Carolina. You may have heard of the pickles.
It's so good you can't make it up. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm ruining your spotlight.
The Mount Olive Pickle Factory is on the corner of Cucumber and Vine.
And it's a delightful place. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know, we were talking earlier today about merch and stuff like that. The Pickle Factory's got a gift shop.
There you go.
And people go buy shirts and all kinds of crap there.
Well, I mean,
foam pickles to put on their hands.
Look at the hot dog place that's like, I love my wiener and all kinds of other stuff.
I feel like they've got I don't think we could use stuff like that on merch.
Well, no, I think if we put something up there, I love my wiener, it would be a little...
It misinterpreted. Not the same audience.
It's not the same demographics.
Exactly. So, anyway, I grew up in Mount Olive. I moved to Raleigh to go to college. I got a diploma.
We won't talk about how upset that makes you, but
I graduated with a diploma in digital art and animation. While I was learning about that wonderful field, I dabbled in design and web, just HTML at the time. This was before fancy things like quote unquote CSS and before WordPress and before video online. It was before YouTube. It was way before YouTube. Oh my God, it was before YouTube.
Okay, next, old man.
So old. Anyway, I met Robert while I was in college, and now we've been making sweet, sweet business together for 15, 16 years.
We're the old married couple of businesses. Oh my God. So I grew up in I was born in Pascagoula, Mississippi.
You know what surprises me? You can say Pascagoula, without nary a problem. But
Nary.
you say entrepreneurial, and it comes out entrepreneur.
After mineral. Anyway, well, it's because I lived with a hideous, hateful aunt that was like, "You're gonna have to learn how to say where you were born," as she smoked on her cigarette and beat, the other 5 children that were in the house. And she was just like, it's like Pasquale. You need to know how to say it. And I'm just like, God, I hate you so much. But anyway, I was born in Pascagoula, Mississippi. That's not famous for anything. And then I grew up in Ocean Springs. Bounced
You may
around.
have heard of the
You may have heard of the ocean.
Yeah.
And so,
I was gonna say the fruit drink, Ocean Spring.
Oh, that's Ocean Spray.
Crap.
That's
Take 2.
Anyway, I've moved around Florida, Mississippi, and finally, when I was like 12 years old, we ended up in Alabama. And we came to Alabama to take care of my grandmother. And my mother got sick, and then suddenly, income just wasn't enough. And so I was like, what can I do to help my family make more money? And it started off with...
How old were you whenever this was happening?
Like 12. And a lot like some of the other, fine entrepreneurs, like Gary Vee and some of the other ones, I started off in baseball cards. I started trading baseball cards. I made, good money in baseball cards. And then I started a bike shop. And then the bike shop went into, other things. And then I went to high school and went to technical college and got into electronics and all this other stuff. I was like, oh my God, I can make money doing electronic things. That's awesome. And then...
Now, I want to make a distinction right now. You're saying electronics, not computer.
No.
So those are 2 separate things. You're thinking like microwaves and VCRs.
Well, no,
Kids, ask your parents what VCRs are.
No. I'm talking like component level. Now, I'm nerd out. Y'all can look it up. Resistors and capacitors and transistors, where you actually build the boards.
Logic gates and things
like that. OR gates, anyway, that's a whole nother nerd topic that we could get off on, but,
I personally identify as a geek. You're
I am a
going to
nerd.
need to back up, slow your roll.
Oh, man, don't even start with me. So, then
you
I
ain't
got
even wearing
into...
your glasses right now. You can't nerd out without your glasses.
I know, I can't. So, I started, realizing that I could make money in electronics, and then I ended up in a bad situation, right after high school, where, I didn't really have a place to stay, and, well, let's not sugarcoat it. I was homeless, living in my car, and just, crap was rough. No cussing on the podcast.
Yeah, clean.
So
clean AF.
I don't think that's the thing anymore. But I was trying to sugarcoat that. But, homeless, jobless, the whole 9 yards. And I was like, man, I got to figure this thing out or I'm going to starve to death. And so I realized that people would pay me to fix their computers.
At some point down this podcast journey of ours, I really want to go into the details of, because you told me a little bit, but not a lot, about what you did while you were homeless. And I think
it ain't pretty.
I think it's something, well, we're not talking about like side of the road type deals, are we?
Not those kind of side of the road type deals.
Like,
where's your mind?
Like, hey, you looking for a party kind of deal?
No, this is a family show.
But you've told me enough that I think that it would be beneficial for our listeners to know exactly how hard you worked not to be homeless. Like, what got you into the situation to begin with, and what you did to get out of that situation. Well, but I think that's down the road.
It is down the road, and I think
because wow, this got real deep.
I know, real deep for just a second, but I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs and just that hustle mentality is for the money, and you got to realize it's not always for the money. Sometimes it's for the not being homeless and
Sometimes
being able
it's
to,
for the roof.
yeah. Sometimes it's for the roof over your head. So, and that's how I started my first business. I realized that people would pay me. Well, my first business was baseball cards, then bicycle repair. But my first real legitimate business that had a business license and income was
Your
I
bicycle
figured
shop.
out. Well, that's because the city was. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a future podcast. But man, the cities, they're so the a-holes. But but my first legitimate business was I figured out that people would pay me to fix their computer, and that I was good at it, and I could make money at it, and that's what led me into, where I am today with several businesses under my belt, not all of them successful, as we so pointed out earlier today. But I think it'd be fun just to kind of figure out and share the journey. Just share hey, we did this and it was so stupid, and if we'd have backed up and done this, it might have actually been okay.
It's amazing how much hindsight gives you perspective on all of the issues.
You let anything age for a few years, you're like, man, I could have made $1 billion at that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back to that for anything in the world, though. So that's kind of, I really want to share that. And then I just want to share about stuff that makes me happy. For me, it's anything like nerdy tech stuff. Like anything that'll go up in the air or around a track, RC cars and have quadcopters and stuff like that. And then, I'm an Apple fanboy. I'll admit it. Jacob, I said it. I know you're going to listen to this. I am an addict. I am an Apple addict.
Wait, what does Dwayne call you? Sheeple.
A sheeple.
You're a sheeple.
I am a sheeple. You are just the opposite. You don't hate it, but you don't really like it.
I wish, so I mentioned this on another episode. I got the Apple Watch for my birthday, and it connects to the iPhone that I've been carrying now for a little while. But if this was an Android watch, and if I had an Android phone, I would probably be just as happy. It doesn't deter me that they're
an Apple product.
Right.
You're not upset to have it.
Right.
Well, not have to, but I see. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people take. We're sitting here, bickering about which is best, Android or Apple, and
Windows Mobile for the win.
I know Windows Mobile for the win. But I remember back in the day when you had the Motorola brick phone that had like 100 text messages in like 200 minutes, or maybe those were backwards. Maybe those were flip-flops.
Are you talking about storage or things that you paid for?
Things you paid for, because storage it had none probably. It saved everything to the SIM card.
The SIM card, right. You got 100 contacts.
Oh, that was such...
And you got something like 255 text messages or something like that.
But I want you to think about...
Save text messages.
But think about how far you're like, well, I mean, if it was an Android watch, an Android phone, I wouldn't be upset.
I want you to think about how far you've come. Your phone right now has more storage capacity than your computer does.
Now wait a minute. It's exactly the same. My computer has 256, and my phone has 256 because that was the only one that was available. Actually, we'll get into that in another podcast because that makes me mad.
I'm going to end up having to make notes because I've already forgotten some stuff that I wanted to write down.
Well, you have like two options. You have like,
the 64
the baby
gig and
version
the
that won't hold anything, or 256.
Yeah.
I tell you, the next phone, and we're going to side tangent, next phone that Apple comes out with, you're going to have two options. 16 gig.
Or a terabyte.
And a terabyte. Yeah, a 1,000 gig phone, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
What do I need? And it'll be like
one of them will be $1,000, and one of them will be $4,000.
Yeah, and it'll be like, now the new one, the new iPhone XXT Max 4x4 thing has
the new iPhone Off-Road Max Ultra.
It still has the 12 megapixel camera that you have come to know and love from Apple, but it now takes 184 photos in one shot, combines them all to produce an Ultra HDR experience.
That blue is 1.5% bluer than the previous blue.
I should be a spokesman. They fired me. They're sending me a cease and desist letter right now.
We used to have a joke whenever I was in college. A friend of mine was really into Nintendo products, and he started working at GameStop. And with his discount and everything, he bought a PlayStation 2. Those were a thing. Kids, ask your parents what a PlayStation 2 is. And we made fun of him for the first 2 months that he had it, saying that the Sony ninjas were going to come, or the Nintendo ninjas were going to come and tranquilize him and drag him back to Nintendo HQ because he had, my brain. I have forgotten. Anyway, he ran away from Nintendo to go to Sony, and I feel like that's how you are with Apple. Like, you feel like if you ever leave the Apple camp, they're going to send ninjas after you. They're going to tranquilize you and drag you back to Apple.
Yeah, they're going to drag me back. Probably. That's what happened. I had traded off my MacBook Pro and went to a Windows machine, and I was like, but my iPad and my phone.
Defected. Remembered. Came back to me.
Jesus. You can't do that.
Sorry, old man. Didn't realize you had a heart condition.
Well, I didn't before now. Anyway, they did. They Apple showed up at my house with a gigantic white SUV, right? No black SUVs in Apple because that doesn't match.
It's changing.
I know.
It's changing.
They showed up in a space gray Yukon Denali with blacked out windows. They threw me in the back seat. They beat me all the way back to Apple headquarters. They took me back, put me in a conference room, tied me down to the table, and
took out your credit card.
Took out my credit card, swiped it for a brand new computer. I come back home and poof, my computer was here, and I was like, how did that happen? That's what I tell everybody.
It's kind of true. You were out of the ecosystem except for your iPhone.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
And gradually worked your way back in. You got an iPad Pro, which you love.
Oh, man, I love my iPad Pro.
We got the Apple Watch a couple years back.
Yep.
And then you got the iPad Pro, and then you missed the text messaging.
I did.
You missed the text. And of all the things to drag you back in,
it was text messaging.
The final straw was the text messaging from the computer.
Here's the thing. When we were in the computer repair business every single day, and we were just working on computers, and I had to log into firewalls and stuff, and the Apple computer would be a little finicky sometimes, But then we got into, we went full time into the marketing and design and advertising company, and I didn't realize how many customers text me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it was just like, if I don't get text messaging back on my computer, I'm not going to get anything done because I literally have to stop, pull out my phone, see who it was, respond to the text, and God forbid it takes a nice big response.
It got.
I can't just send a thumbs up emoji.
No.
God, that makes me mad.
Etiquette dictates that is not acceptable. But it got to the point for you that you actually had to purchase a special Bluetooth keyboard
just to reply
so you could reply to text messages. You could swap between your iPad, your iPhone, and your computer.
Yep. And I love that little keyboard. I still have it.
Yeah, it's right over there.
I've got
it right over there.
I'm gonna use it. But so without getting off onto the Apple tangent, because I'm sure we'll get off onto this is how I got back into Apple.
We always talk about Apple.
We do talk about Apple because I'm a sheeple. And, shut up. So, but I really wanted to take the first episode and just kind of have people know who we are and what we do and why we got to
Have
where
we even
we're
told
at.
people what we do?
Oh, maybe we should. I mean, the little logo should tell them that we do design and marketing. You're the
I'm the
design guy, like you're the design idea guy, and I've been in business since I was like 9 or 12 or young.
You always
single digits.
You always leave out whenever you're glossing over your business time or early in life. You always gloss over the.
Oh, I forgot I sold candy at
candy.
school when I was like 8 or something.
Yeah.
I would go to the store and I would take.
No, don't spoil it. We'll get into
yes,
it later.
we'll get. Okay, y'all have to.
But
'cause
anyway.
this was. I made money at like 8.
He was making good money
I was
too.
making good money.
But you know, we
For an
as a
8-year-old, maybe
yeah.
maybe we should pray. I wasn't making like, you
I
know.
don't know. You were making pretty decent. You made more than me whenever I got my first job. So anyway, but as a company, Purple Tie Guys does. We lump it all into internet marketing. It's SEO, pay-per-click, Facebook ads, Google ads, website development,
logo design.
Gosh,
making things pretty on the internet, basically.
yeah.
We can do some print stuff. We don't like to because we just don't like to. I personally like to, and you'll make fun of me for that at some point. And during this podcast,
you want to order print
we have
everything.
we can't talk about that. We're explaining what this is going to be about, and there'll be
9-hour podcast. Here we come. Let's go into print stuff with Robert.
It's printing with Robert. Oh my God! So, and we kind of got started. Just kind of a little background of us. You know, we'd always been in the tech industry and. We'd always kind of done our own marketing and advertising, and we knew that there had to be a better way than what
There
we
had to be a better way.
There had to be a better way, and we found a better way, and we had a lot of fun along the way, and we're not done having fun, and we haven't found the, honey pot at the end of the rainbow or anything. So
even once you get there, though, I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but Gary Vaynerchuk is. Oh wait, we talked about him in the other podcast.
If we don't decide to redo that one, because we haven't uploaded it yet.
But Gary Vaynerchuk did. He makes tons of money. He's got a lucrative winery business, right? Or
dude,
no?
He's got VaynerMedia, which is like the biggest media. Like he does stuff for like Nike and Pepsi, and
he does investing.
Yeah,
he does all kinds
tons
of stuff. But he also just started a YouTube show called Trash Talk, where he goes out and does
yard sales.
Yard selling. He did 18 yard sales in that last episode.
And
spent $100 and
turned it into like 3,000 or something.
Yeah.
Minus fees and stuff like that. But that's the kind of things that I want to talk about on here is, we flipped stuff on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff and made money on it. So I kind of want to talk about that. Just some of the, like this past weekend, on a Saturday, we ended up having to drive, an hour and a half to Birmingham to go, help a client.
Yeah.
And then, had some fun along the way, which we'll talk about that.
Yep.
Because it was amazing. And just talk about, shenanigans. Can we say shenanigans? Because we have a lot of shenanigans. Crap that is just fun, that we find fun. You guys may think it sucks. And then how to make money and how to have fun doing it. So that's really what I want this podcast to be about, is just how do we make fun? How do we make fun of making money?
How do we manufacture fun out of money?
Well, that's easy. Well, that's easy. They got some clubs for that. But
No.
Okay, on that note, you can find us online almost anywhere. PurpleTieGuys.com. Purple Tie Guys on
Facebook,
what is it?
YouTube,
Like Instagram, Facebook. I mean, pretty much
all the
anywhere.
everythings. Just Purple Tie Guys. You can find us online.
And until the next one, bye.